Greetings, Love Posse. Biden, Harris, and Trump are fulfilling their soul contracts. Will you fulfill yours? As many of you are aware, President Biden dropped out of the race yesterday. President Biden is a Scorpio. Relevant to this time, the symbolic meaning of the Scorpio is death and rebirth. Former President Donald Trump now stands as the oldest candidate in this race if Kamala Harris gets the nomination. The old. We are moving from the old, which Trump represents, the old paradigm, the old ways of being, the old narratives, the old top-down government, into the new, into the age of Aquarius, which Kamala Harris symbolically represents. Kamala Harris is a Libra. The Libra symbolically or archetypally represents justice and balance. We're moving from chaos into balance, which she represents. We are moving into a new era. November 19th of this year is the last time that Pluto will be in Capricorn. Pluto, the sign of government and power, which is ending, top-down government, and moving into the age of Aquarius, which represents the young, vitality, the people. Kamala Harris, former prosecutor, representing the people. The universe, our collective unconscious, working together to create this evolutionary, revolutionary transition from the old into the new. President Biden, the scorpion stings, and the sting is quick and unexpected. It's potent, causing death. And that is what has happened. His dropping out of the race was unexpected for many. People supporting him, encouraging him to stay in the race. And the sting was quick. Right after he dropped out of the race, he quickly endorsed Kamala Harris, making a point, which the Scorpion does, symbolically saying, death has begun, and here is the rebirth. I know many of you may disagree with me on this point I'm about to make. Trump and his MAGA allies, their mantra is "Make America Great Again." I submit to you. I speak as I see America has never been great for people like me and other people of color and the poor, whomever they may be, for women, for children, for the planet, for nature. America, since its inception, as a colonizer, murderer of the indigenous people that were already here, has never been great. Trump represents what America has always been: lies and corruption, colonizing, pillaging, subjugating women, the voiceless, people of color, children, representing greed and the corporations. Representing the vile and disgusting, representing the darkness in all of us. So I submit to you, America has never been great, but we have an opportunity to become great in our new direction. Many people are upset that there may not be a primary, that Kamala is not who the people have chosen, that this is not a democracy. Again, it's never been a democracy. We've had the people vote, we've had the electoral college, we've had voter suppression. Each group has had to fight for their right to vote. Women, people of color have had to fight for their right to vote. So it's never been a democracy. It's been conditioning. Thought, believing what it has been conditioned to believe, that the United States of America is a democracy. It never has, but it can be. This is the time, our time. After November 19th, for the next 20 years, Pluto will be in Aquarius, the sign of the young, of the people. That's where we're headed. Yesterday became a clear sign of what the astrologers have been saying. This is what happens when something is being destroyed and something new is being created. Death and rebirth, a new beginning. The United States has been going through its Pluto return, where we get to recreate this country, our values and beliefs, even geography, what we stand for. And yesterday marked a clear sign of where we're going. A new era, a new time, a new beginning. It's exciting and fascinating, and we all get to participate. You get to participate by fulfilling your soul contract. You can be the watcher. You can fulfill your dream. You can walk your path. You can speak your truth. You can stand up for what is true. Fulfill your soul contract. Biden, Harris, and Trump are fulfilling theirs. President Trump, he's played his role masterfully. I'm grateful for each of these personas, these spiritual beings living out their human experience and purpose. Trump representing all the darkness within each of us, the darkness of this country, with an Oscar-winning performance, will go down in history. Each will. We won't ever forget this. You know, I heard recently, and maybe this is a separate video, Lauryn Hill giving a speech, and she said that sometimes God, the divine, whatever your faith is, uses us in a way that's uncomfortable. Sometimes we have to be humiliated. She said that some people want to be used, you know, being on the stage at the Grammys and professing and praising God's name, but that's not being used. Being humiliated, and worse, is being used. George Floyd was used. He had to die. That was his soul contract. Derek Chauvin had to be the one to murder him by putting pressure, his knee on his neck, and killing him. That was Chauvin's soul contract. Sometimes we're used that way. Trump has been used in a despicable way. And I'm grateful for him for fulfilling his soul contract. And now that the death, the sting of the scorpion has been injected, figuratively, into the consciousness of all of us on this planet, the rebirth has begun. You will see more of the decay because there's more to come. But be uplifted. The rebirth has also begun. Trump will fall because that's where we are cosmically. That's the planetary alignment's influence, evolutionary influence. We are being upgraded. So Trump, the old, the corruption, the racism, the hatred, the vileness, the subjugation of women and children and people of color and the voiceless and the poor. The greed and corruption of the corporations must die. And the people will rise and rise and rise for the next 20 years. We can become great because we've never been great. But this is our chance. We will make history, you and I and all of us, uniting, standing together. We've never been United States of America because the conditioning was separation. And this one is better than this one. Asinine. So we have the opportunity to become. We are the becoming. Great. And I thank and I'm grateful for President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, former President Donald Trump, for fulfilling their soul contract. And I leave you with this challenge, Love Posse. Will you fulfill yours? I challenge you to fulfill yours. You have to have courage. You have to trust that what you're doing is what you're meant to do. Even if people don't understand, even if people won't support you, Love Posse. You have to walk your talk and talk your walk. You have to stand for something that's meaningful, that brings people together. You have to love when others won't. And if you can't get to love, at least be kind and compassionate. You may have to speak out and say things are not popular. I do it all the time. I do it all the time. I've accepted my soul contract and I will fulfill my soul contract. Will you, Love Posse, fulfill yours? I had to go through 4 years of homelessness. That was part of my soul contract, to be humiliated so that I can be used, so that people can see that even when you're down, you can rise again. Going from judicial candidate, lawyer, to homeless, and having my family and friends and those who subscribe to my channel and followed me on Facebook and other social media to see that this could happen. And still I rise. And so will you, if that's your path. Biden, Harris, and Trump have fulfilled their soul contract. Love Posse, will you fulfill yours. Thank you for your time, Love Posse. I love you. The divine loves you. Namaste.